can do is take a couple questions before we get started. Okay? So does anybody want to ask me a question before I start? Before I pray and start going? You already got you. Well, let's go ahead and pray, because I was waiting for him to come back from the bathroom. Okay. All right. Dear Father in heaven, as always, this is your work, and we ask your blessing upon it. Please give me the words to bring people closer to you and to do a good job in your name. And thank you for the opportunity to be here and to be with this church and to be in a place where so much of my life has taken place. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to weave in whales and dolphins, and I'm going to save Fiji for last. I'm going to talk quite a bit about Fiji. But this health message that our church has, I think that toxins and pollutants need to play a really big role in it. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm a researcher. I need to put my qualifications out there. I'm a researcher. I'm a hyperbaric medical I was a hyperbaric medical supervisor and inside medical tender. But I'm a researcher. And what got me going on this, can we have that first PowerPoint image up? Is I'm Mr. Mom at home. My wife works full time, and so I'm taking care of the kids in the house. And I was doing, amen. And I iron and I cook and I wash, and I was doing the laundry. And I'm going, well, how much soap do you put in there? She says, well, just whatever you want to put in. I'm going, nah, that can't be. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about laundry, because this really got me going. If you have a front loader wash machine, you're only supposed to put 1 to 2 tablespoons in there. 1 to 2 tablespoons. I found this out by calling up the research department at Westinghouse. Because I have a Westinghouse washer, and I wanted to know the facts. And they said most people put way too much soap in, and the residual winds up in the clothes, and it goes into the bearings of the washing machine, and it ruins your washing machine. So 1 to 2 tablespoons in a front loader, if you're using HE soap, and if you're using the very top, use a lot less than you think you would normally use. And if the clothes are clean, then use less. If they're not clean, use more, until you find out what your water pH is for your area. So now, as I do this, here's what I'm doing. This is important. This web page is the Household Products Database. So this is a federal web page. And what they warn, and the product that I'm going to put up here, is Arm & Hammer Essentials Fabric Softener Sheets, all scents. So these are the fabric softener sheets you throw into a dryer. Look at the warning. May cause eye irritation, skin contact. You can have irritation from skin contact, ingestion, and from inhalation. So what this stuff is they're different types, but they're toxins. And they're chemicals that are used to help soften your clothes. They do it chemically.
How about the ones that say they're free?
I haven't seen any that say they're free. Free of any what? Yeah, no, I have not encountered any. This I felt was one of the safer ones, Arm & Hammer. And they're no good for you. In fact, a lot of people are concerned about scents. When you smell something, they don't want you to wear something like a perfume. And that's because so many perfumes now are made from chemicals. They're not made from flowers. And they can be any one of 400, a combination of 400 different chemicals. And people are having an allergic reaction to the chemicals. And this stuff is loaded with chemicals. And so what they do is they've loaded up with perfumes and scents to hide the toxic smell of the harshness that's there. And again, this is the Household Products Database. I have the remote. I should pull this remote out. And so if you have a rat problem, what you want to do is you just leave some fabric softener sheets where they're at, and they will leave. Fabric softener sheets are bad news for rats and mice. And like if you had a motorhome, you put them out in the motorhome. Now moving on, remember we're talking about laundry now. Dry cleaning. 90% of the dry cleaners are using very heavy-duty chemicals, and they put it right here. This is the chemical they use. It's a human carcinogen, and it is the most commonly used drying cleaning solvent. You see, dry cleaning doesn't mean it's cleaned dry. It's put in a liquid and the liquid isn't solvent in water. That's why it's called dry cleaning. It's not solvent in water. And this stuff, skin contact, inhalation, eye contact, it's all bad for you. So if you still want to take stuff to the cleaners, what you do is when you pick it up, you hang it in your car, with the windows down and the plastic on, take it home, and hang it up in the garage. And take the plastic off. Just leave it in the garage or some other room, not where you're going to sleep. And then every day or so, you go out and you smell it, because your nose knows. And if you smell chemicals, leave it until you don't smell them anymore. But this you're putting stuff against your skin, and if you still want to wear, things that are dry cleaned, and you think you have to wear it too soon, then just wear a natural fiber underneath it, like a T-shirt or something. As simple as that. Okay. Permanent press clothes. Guess how they get permanent press? They embalm it in formaldehyde. They take the cloth, they put it in a formaldehyde bath, or they put it in a formaldehyde vapor room until it gets into the fabric, and then they heat it up to 300 degrees, and that's to cure it into the clothing, and then now you are wearing formaldehyde. Now, formaldehyde is a known carcinogen. But the U.S. government would not acknowledge that it was a known carcinogen until 8 months ago. 8 months ago, they acknowledged that formaldehyde is a known carcinogen. They put it in human bodies to keep them from what? It's a preservative. Now, what is a preservative? When they use the term preservative, what is it? A preservative is something that it kills living things. It kills living things. And so when they do this, next I got in my wife's makeup. I did. I was so curious about all this. Oh, no, I didn't wear it. Very good. Very good. Okay, if you open up a makeup bottle, you don't want to see mold growing in there. So they put an anti-fungicide, anti-mold in there, and they put preservatives in there because they want it to look nice when you open it. Now, they say that if you use this much amount, this little tiny bit of it, it won't hurt you. But if you're using eyeliner, if you're using blush, if you're using lipstick, if you're using, I forget the name, shadows and stuff like that, then you are actually putting a lot of things onto your face. And the biggest organ in your body is the skin, and you eliminate more waste through your skin than anything else, and more stuff goes in. So this embalming stuff is important. Hair straighteners, the Brazil blow dry. Oh yeah, EPA shut them down. They're facing fines. They found 10% liquid formaldehyde in Brazilian blow dry. Blow up. Is it blow up?
Blow out.
Blow out?
Brazilian blowout.
Thank you. Did you use it?
No, I have a friend who's dying from it.
You have a friend? No, I'm sorry. Really?
Yep. Really? She is. She put it on her head, and she let it stay on long. Salon put it on long and too long, and she wound up having a reaction, and it started decompensating her organs in her body.
Ah.
She's got less than a year to live.
This is this. We're talking about. It's a hair straightener that's become pretty popular for people with really curly hair. And this is why I'm talking. This is why I'm talking about this subject, because we're exposed to some heavy stuff. The government's supposed to protect us, but there's lobby groups that fight that. Let me go a little bit further. Let me continue with this because I need to keep on pace. Fall spray starch. Okay, now it says spray starch. If they put a small amount of chemical in there, they don't have to list it. These are all the chemicals that can be in there, and some of the other ones that have this stuff in it. So, and when you have chemicals and you run an iron over it, what happens to the chemical? It vaporizes, and you inhale it. And because you heated it up, you micronize it. And so now it goes through the alveolus of the lungs into your bloodstream, and this goes into your body. So this is, go back to what Grandma did. Go back to Grandma. Oh, and by the way, I have the solution on fabric softener. In the rinse cycle, you put a 1/4 cup of white vinegar. That is actually, they have used that for generations. White vinegar, what that does is that strips away the residual detergents and chemicals that are still in the clothes, and it freshens them. They don't smell like vinegar. They actually smell very nice. You don't use it on silk. It'll have a bad reaction on silk. And if you're concerned with static cling, put 2 little pieces of aluminum and roll them into balls and throw them in there, and that removes your static cling. Okay.
How many loads of laundry have you wasted away? Ruined.
How many have I ruined?
By
I'm tough on bras. Okay, tough on bras. You know, I would throw them in the dryer, and then they get caught up with something else. And so now I've learned to hand wash them and hang them in the bathroom, and then later on put them on the bed. So I do the laundry at home. I'm Mr. Mom. So as you're wondering, and this has led me to a lot of my research because I wanted to do things good for my family. Okay, now I'm also going to show you some whales and dolphins. But isn't this really important stuff? And what you're learning, you'll keep it for a lifetime. You'll never forget this. And now this is what got me started. Here's what got me started on these toxins. Now, for those of you who just arrived, just so you know, this is my source. This is the Household Products Database. This is the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So this is you see where this is from. Every product that you buy has to be listed on the Health and Products Database by a certain amount of time. And what it is Colgate 2-in-1 children's toothpaste and mouthwash and bubble gum. Now, why am I going to talk about this? I was in Fiji. We had a dentist come. We had a few dentists with us. And he brought a tube of toothpaste and a toothbrush for every single kid. And so we gave them this toothpaste. Every kid got the toothpaste. And the next day we showed them how to use it. And then the next day at the school, the teachers came up to them and they said, "We need more toothpaste." And I go, "Why?" And she said, "Well, the kids ate it. It was like candy. They ate the whole tube." Have you read what it says on any tube of toothpaste that has fluoride in it? Okay, here we go. Eye contact. This is the children's ones. If more than used for brushing accidentally swallowed, get medical help or contact poison control right away. That's a children's toothpaste. If they use more than should be used for brushing, contact poison control. Why? Because fluoride is a poison. But in high concentrations. But you see, no matter what here's just a little bit of arsenic. Oh, you brush your teeth twice a day? Well, here's a little bit more. And what it does, do you know where arsenic comes? Yeah, arsenic. Do you know where fluoride comes from? It's used in refining metals like aluminum. It was first used, the first commercial use as a byproduct of refining metals it was used as a rat and pest poison. It's for poisoning things. Anyway, here's where we go. Eye contact, irritation, skin contact may cause skin irritation. Rinse area with plenty of water. Ingestion may be harmful in large quantities. Drink 1 to 2 glasses of water. Seek medical help immediately. That really got me going. And so I asked this dentist, and he said, "Well, it was the fluoride." And then he said, "But Steve, I have the solution for you. And later on, I'm going to bring another solution out for you. But when you brush your teeth, all you really need is baking soda. That's all you really need is baking soda. What cleans your teeth is the work. It's the brushing. It's the flossing. And you need to do it twice a day. Tartar becomes plaque. It hardens after 24 hours. So you got to do it twice. You got to do it once. You got to floss at least once a day. Brush your teeth twice a day. And toothpaste has a Rockwell hardness of 15. It's abrasive. Your tooth enamel has a Rockwell hardness of 15. So it helps get stuff off. But if you get exposed to root has a Rockwell hardness of 7. And so when you expose to root and you use 15 against 7, what's going to happen? You're going to erode those teeth and the roots, and so suddenly you're going to lose a tooth. Okay, so now I'm into toothpaste, and I'm looking at Colgate, and Colgate has a product out called triclosan. Triclosan was invented 40 years ago for hospitals, and it is meant as an antifungal, antibiological agent. It's an it kills things. It kills them. They have found that soap is just as effective. Soap is just as effective as this. But they're worried about this product. Who can tell me why? It's in the news. They're talking about it. They think that microbes are going to develop a resistance to it. Microbes will develop a resistance. They're concerned about using it on your hands. So what you never want to buy is you never want to buy this type of hand cleaner. Now I'm going to share something with you. You've already used it. You've already used triclosan. It's in the church bathrooms. I've been in the men's room. I'm assuming it's also in the girls' room. Now, whoever put it there, don't feel bad. Because you didn't know. They didn't know, right? And why'd they put it there? Are you the one? Oh, he is? Okay. Why'd you put it there? Because you want to, hold it. You want to help people, right? You want to help people. You want to give something nice. Yeah. Okay. So now what you do is continue, use it up. Don't throw it away. Wash your hands with it and rinse them really quick. No, give it to me. And rinse them well. But they're concerned that by washing your hands with this, it's going to get into your bloodstream and it's going to make microbes and such resistant to antibiotics. So this is serious. So you don't buy that brand anymore, but use it up. But here's where it gets scary. As I started researching toothpaste, I go to Costco, I get 4 tubes of Colgate Total. So what do I research next? Colgate Total. Guess what's in Colgate Total? Triclosan. Is in the urine of 75% of Americans over the age of 5. Triclosan may alter hormonal regulations. What they're talking about there is girls are maturing at 10 and 11 years old. Yeah, it's in the water. It's close. Okay, now, so when you buy a product, the first ingredient is what? Water. The most. Actually, the exact is the most weight. It's whatever weighs the most is number 1. So we're going to look at Colgate Total. What's the very first? What is the very first item? It's a sugar. Okay, what's the second item by weight? Sugar alcohol. By the way, sugar alcohols and alcohol inside the body, when the microbes inside your body react to it, they have a bad reaction, and what they throw off, what they pass off, okay, I'll say it, what they excrete, okay, from these microbes, it causes inflammation in the intestinal area, and the intestines. And if you get inflammation in the intestines, then it makes the walls more porous, and things can go in and out that you don't want in and out of there. Okay, so the sugar alcohol is not very good. What's the third item? A sweetener. What's the fourth item?
Another sweetener.
An artificial sweetener, which is really when you look at.
That's antifreeze.
Thank you. Did you catch that? Are you a chemist, by the way? You're doing great. I'll take you with me on the road.
Yeah, I have a minor in chemistry.
You have a minor in chemistry. Okay, antifreeze. Antifreeze is a poison. It's a poison. Okay, and so is, we'll get to it, sodium saccharin, synthetic sugar. That throws your body pH off. When they say, how many of you now know about body pH has to be right on? And the best thing that you can possibly take is lemon juice with the pulp. Has to be with the pulp, because then you get the minerals. The worst thing you can take is a diet soda with saccharin sugar, because that is so acidic and it's so bad for you. Okay, why so much sugar in a toothpaste? You know, that's the natural reaction, but it's too much sugar. It's too much sugar. The 4 heaviest items are sweeteners. It's there because what follows is so harsh that you would not put it in your mouth. The next ingredient is sodium lauryl sulfate. 30% of us are allergic to it. It's in shampoos. It's what makes things sud. It can be in soaps, and it's in most toothpaste, because you don't think it's cleaning your teeth if you don't get the soap suds. And the sodium lauryl sulfate is what makes your teeth feel slick. It's what makes your teeth feel slick, so you think you really accomplished something. Now, quick, I'm going to come back to you. What is sodium lauryl sulfate also used for in car washes?
For anti-foaming?
Degreaser. It's a degreaser. So you want something degreased, you use sodium lauryl sulfate. 30% of us are allergic to it. What's it doing in toothpaste? Well, as soon as I told you tartar control, now you know why it's in there. Next ingredient, sodium hydroxide. What's that? Lye. A drain opener. It's a drain opener. You wanted white teeth, didn't you? Well, a drain opener gives you really white teeth. Is this ridiculous? Is this ridiculous? But we didn't know. Okay, the sodium lauryl sulfate can penetrate, be retained in the eye, brain, heart, and liver with harmful effects. SLS keeps children's eyes from developing properly, and it causes cataracts in adults. It causes cataracts in adults. I mean, come on. You know, we were supposed to live 120 years. Were we supposed to live with cataracts? And look at all the people getting cataract surgeries. I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff that brings this stuff on, but this is not good. And then we get down to, and by the way, can impair hair growth, and it mimics the activity of hormonal, anyway. And then the coloring is now is from petroleum products. Hey, when I say baby oil, what do you think? What's baby oil? Okay, what's baby oil made out of? Oil. It's from oil, it's from petroleum. And when you put it on the skin, you know why it's in baby oil? Because it's so cheap. They have to get rid of it. It's a byproduct of refining for gasoline and for oils. And when you put it on the skin, what do you think this does? It seals the skin. It keeps things in and doesn't let stuff through. Your skin is supposed to breathe. And so when you put this on a baby, it's sealing the baby. You should be using nice things on your baby, not your normal baby things. And the mucus inside your mouth can absorb up to 90% of what goes into it. Now, when I say that, if you can't get an IV started on somebody, come on, who's my medical person? What's the next place you go for? Where do you go? Under the tongue. Up to 90% absorption. It's the next thing closest to an IV. So when you put this stuff in your mouth and you do it twice a day, this is serious. Okay, next thing, sodium fluoride. Fluoride is more poisonous than lead and just slightly less poisonous than arsenic. That's the Journal of American Medical Association published 3 separate articles linking increased hip fractures to fluoride in the water. And they go on, and fluoride is a byproduct manufacturing of aluminum. It was originally a rat poison. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about in total toothpaste is titanium dioxide. They're micronizing it now. They're making it really, really, really tiny. And that means it can get into your body. And guess what it's leading to? Nanoparticles are associated with childhood disorders such as autism, epilepsy, and learning disabilities. Now, autism has gone from 1 in 2,500 to 1 in 110, and now a study has it at 1 in an 80. And one of the studies that came out is they found out that they used twins. They took twins, and guess what they found out using, I'm in the wrong study. They were looking at antidepressants, and there's certain lines of antidepressants that the women in the study, if they use an antidepressant within 2 years of conceiving, they double the chances of having a child with autism. And if they used it during pregnancy, it quadrupled the chances of autism in a child, quadrupled it. Now, what is one of the biggest symptoms of people when they have toxins in their body? Depression. So what do? Take an antidepressant. You're trying to mask what's going on. Okay, excuse me. There's a nanoparticle warning. Okay, what we're going to do is let's go over to the video, please. And I think, by the way, just really while he's doing that, look at this. If you think you're safe eating vegetables, you got to be careful here. Apples are the worst offender out of the top 10 for fruits and vegetables that can have toxins in them. There are possibly 48 pesticides that can contaminate the apple. They use this after the apple has been picked, so that it has long storage life. And the potato, one of the best things you can eat, what they do to potato is before the seeds are even, first they plow up the ground and they put in they put in pesticides to kill the bugs, and then they soak the seeds in insecticides, which kills off the fireworm, and then to prevent the spread of blight, the seeds are drenched in fungicide. And this is what's going on with potatoes. So the simple solution is buy organic or grow your own. And we are growing our own. And I'll mention this one last image, and then we're done with the PowerPoint after this. I think we're done. Maybe I'll show one more. In the past 12 years, 3 never-before diseases are devastating. It's the biggest mass die-off extinction of animals in U.S. history. Amphibians, bees, and most recently bats. And it's the water and the insecticides that are being used. The U.S. government looked at 282 streams in American rivers, and they were looking for mercury in fish. And guess what they found? All the fish had methylmercury in them. Now, notice I went from mercury to methylmercury. When mercury interacts with living organisms, you get methylmercury, which is like 15 times worse. And it's out there, and it's having a huge effect. And I can say, we will come back to this. No, we won't. We're done with this. Okay, so now we're going to go to some video. I'm going to show you some whales and some dolphins, and I'm going to tell you frightful stories. Frightful stories. Huh? Well, remember, everything I tell you, I'm going to give you the solution. What do you brush your teeth with from now on? Baking soda. How much does baking soda cost? Okay, now, Arm & Hammer baking soda has aluminum.
How about the baking soda toothpaste?
No, because it has sodium lauryl sulfate in it. Yeah, but I am going to tell you about a product later on tonight that I offer that is very, very nice. But baking soda, and if you buy Arm & Hammer baking soda, it does have aluminum in it. That's what gives. That's when you get biscuit and it has a little tingy taste to it. That's the aluminum. So it's hard to escape, but it is there. Okay, as we play this, I'm going to talk over it. But it has music, so I do want to hear it, Carol, if it's okay. So go ahead and hit play. And maybe we can bring those lights down, if somebody can hit those lights. I don't want Carol to do everything. Oh, he can do it all? Good. Perfect. And a little bit of music while you're doing the lights? Come on, you got two hands. He can't play the music? He really can't? You're kidding. I'm waiting. You're a prankster, I can tell. These are Atlantic spotted dolphins. Aren't they beautiful? Go ahead and bring the sound down a little bit. Okay, these are killer whales. The killer whales of the Puget Sound in Washington were put on the endangered species list in 2005. They were put on the endangered species list. We used to have over 200. We now have just under 90. Just under 90. And what's happening is they're not getting the amount of food that they need because we're seeing less fish, but they are very, very polluted. And I'm going to be talking a lot about the pollution levels in these animals. Where the pollution's coming from. How many of you have been to Victoria, Canada, the town of Victoria? Isn't it beautiful? Beautiful? They have no waste treatment plants in Victoria. You see, Canada has no national law on the treatment of wastewater. None. And so it's what each region and each city decides for themselves. And so the city of Victoria has chosen to pump, on the average, 300,000 gallons of human waste into the Puget Sound every day. Every day. And so are their sewers, go untreated straight in. And the result is we're seeing this in the marine mammals that come in contact with Canadian water. And you're going to find out just how scary this really is in just a minute. It is scary. This is really bad news. And wait do you hear what Canada's doing about it? Oh no, they've done something. He said probably nothing, but you're right on. But wait do you hear what they've done? Okay, I love these animals, and I've been doing a lot of research with them for years with the Cousteaus. And is that right? Just get ready to pause. When it flickers to a new screen, you can pause. Pause. Perfect. Okay, here's what's going on in the Puget Sound. You have what's called PCBs, which are used commercially. They're called POP, persistent organic pollutants. And they have fire retardants. You see, in California, we mandated fire retardants in everything that can burn. And we did it, why? Protect children. But we want to protect people. We're using a heavy metal to slow the fumes, to slow the fire. So they smolder longer before they catch fire, usually about 4 to 5 seconds longer. What do people usually go to the hospital for with a fire? Smoke inhalation. Okay, isn't this interesting as we get into this? Okay, now, this stuff has a half-life of about 10 to 15 years. So if it gets into your body, it can take 10 to 15 years to reduce the amount of it by half, unless you're doing things to get rid of it, which we will talk about. Okay, Canada, the beluga whales, 25% of the beluga whales in Canada are dying of cancer. 25%, and that's unheard of. That's such a huge number for wild animals. So for us to be losing these wild animals, 25%. Now, guess what cancer is predominantly killing them? Breast cancer. Breast cancer. And you hear about all these poor ladies having to go in for these mastectomies and double mastectomies, and then it gets in the lymph system. There's environmental reasons for all this. Now, Canada did come up with a solution. They've been monitoring all their marine life, and they're seeing that the levels in the whales are 500 to 1,000 times higher than natural. 500 to 1,000 times. And in the fur seals and such like that. So what did Canada do last month to resolve the problem? They fired the agency. They fired the watchdog agency that monitors the water safety in Canada and marine life. They fired the whole safety. 75 scientists hit the road. They fired them all. They shut it down. It was in the paper. Now, if you go to drugsbite.com, that's my webpage, drugsbite.com, and you will see that Steve's Toxins blog. And if you go to the blog, I put this stuff, I put it there, so you can see the actual newspaper reports, and you see what it is we're dealing with. Okay, I have a video to share with you. This is a fun one. Diving with dolphins in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And this is what my job was with the Cousteau Society. I love to share this. This is what I got paid to do. Hit play.
World. "40 miles off the Bahama coast, Cousteau divers are joined by a pod of wild spotted dolphins. Theirs is a highly social existence, individuals bound to one another in a complex web of relationships. In this three-dimensional world, predators can appear from any direction, and being part of the group is essential to the survival of the individual. Navigators, guardians, hunters, and teachers, each has a social role which benefits the pod. Mothers teach their spotless babies to hunt with sound for prey hidden in the sand. Each youngster learns its own unique whistle, an acoustic signature which identifies the individual within the extended family. Communication and cooperation are as vital in this environment as is their link to the world of air. Even the synchrony of their rising together to breathe reinforces their bonds to each other. But despite the serious nature of their social roles, they all have time to play.
Okay, get ready to pause. And pause. Oh, okay. Did you see the scooters? That's what I got paid to do. I was paid to swim with dolphins and whales and sharks. And I resigned that job. I quit that job to become a full-time youth minister in this church. And I am living so much adventure right now. I have never been happier. I've never had more adventure and challenge in my life. And I'll share more of that when I share about Fiji. But I'm going to run a little video for you. And what I want you to pay attention to is you're going to see some charts. And I'm going to call your attention to the charts with the laser. I'll point it and I'll start making some motions. But you're going to see PCBs, which are in the environment. They were banned in the 1970s. But before the agency was fired up in Canada, guess what they were finding? The levels are going up in the streams and rivers. PCBs are going up. They should be going down. They were banned. And you're going to see flame retardants. You're going to see flame retardants in Europe where they've been banned. And you're going to see them in California where they're mandated. And on the chart, I will take this laser and I will show you, because in Europe, they're about down to here. And in California, they're going to be up here. It's huge. It's huge, the difference. And it's in our children. And it causes reproductive issues and other things. So go ahead and hit play.
How far do these toxins now reach? And how do humans compare when tested? Dr. Mary Louise Scully is part of a pilot program with the state of California that is trying to answer similar questions. 3 members of the team are tested to see the results from people with different lifestyles and diets, since many toxins accumulate in food.
Thank you very much.
Jean-Michel grew up in France, spent 40 years in California, has traveled the world his entire life, and eats everything. Team photographer Carrie Vonderhaar was raised in the Midwestern United States, has traveled from the Amazon to the Arctic, and eats everything except fish. Holly Loheis, Cousteau marine biologist, has dived the world's oceans to better understand the subjects of her passion. Native to California's agricultural region, Holly has been a vegetarian for 13 years. To round out the sampling, Holly brought her 4-year-old son, Gavin, to be tested. And like Holly, he's a vegetarian.
So, first, the PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls. These are manufactured chemicals that actually have been banned now since the 1970s. But because they have a long half-life, they're actually still in our environment, and we're still getting exposed to them even today. Where you find this chemical is actually in fatty fish, fatty meats, and actually even dairy fats.
Dairy fat.
I'm high on PCB.
It's Cousteau.
You are indeed above the 50th percentile. We sort of look very similar, don't we? Carrie, looking very good. Holly, you never did
No.
salmon or?
I've never eaten fish, but definitely a meat-based diet growing up, but not in the last 10 years, so I'm not sure how long PCBs actually stay within my fat.
Well, the half-life, they say, is 10 to 15 years. So now, Gavin, tell us about Gavin's diet.
Oh, wow, that's alarming.
Does he eat fish and meat? And
No, we're the same diet.
same diet? The other thing I was thinking, too, was dairy fats, too. Whole milk or
No.
And pause.
soy milk. So
And
our
she-
next one is the
And she says that, he doesn't eat dairy. How many kids, they go to somebody else's house so they get ice cream, pizza, and cheese? Who told us that at some point in time we would no longer be able to eat dairy products? Sister White. She warned us about this. It's here. The stuff is stored. See, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And so, guess what? Vegan diet's the way to go. A vegan diet is the way to go. And notice where all this stuff is stored? It's stored in the body fat. It's stored in your fat. And so what you want to do, and you're going to like this news. You're going to like this part of the news. You're going to like this. Moderation and everything, right? Is if you start to fast and you start to mobilize too much body fat, then you're going to get chemicals released into your bloodstream, and they're going to cause more problems. So you lose weight slowly. Take your time. Drink lots of clean water, lots of water. And exercise. Exercise it helps to get this stuff out of your body. Buy organics and grow your own. I am a wheatgrass. I grow wheatgrass to juice. I grow sprouts. I grow sunflower sprouts. They get to be this tall. I love to, people love them, and they're huge. But those are completely free of pesticides. And so the law of diffusion requires that if you're not taking in toxins and pollutants, what are you going to start getting rid of? Toxins and pollutants. Please hit play again, Carol.
PBDEs, polybrominated diethyl ethers, the so-called flame retardants, okay? Now, these are also manufactured chemicals that were added to products to make them flame resistant. Electronic equipment, you'll find it in home furnishings, couches. They've shown that there are high levels in dust. And this is a study that looked at some of the concentrations,
Europe.
Germany, UK,
That's
Canada.
California.
And then they looked at some Massachusetts, Washington, but look at us, California.
California.
We are way up there. Products have to pass a flammability standard, but obviously we're now realizing that perhaps there's a downside. What we do know is that children have a lot higher level of these flame retardants than moms. This is one study, fire retardants in toddlers and their mothers. And that's because where do kids spend their time? They spend it on the floor. And in the orcas, they are seeing that this level is going up, not down.
How does it get into the orcas?
It gets into the orcas from the environment and just passes
Wash
up the,
down the streams and
passed
into
up
the food chain.
Yep. Let's go on to the results. There I am. Jean-Michel, you didn't come in too badly on this one. Carrie, we'll do you next. Okay, you look pretty good on that one. Holly, according to this, you're definitely higher than the 95th percentile. And we might as well just forge ahead and see Gavin as well while we're here.
And
so,
pause.
according to Dr. Petraeus,
Okay, according to the doctor, there's something going on environmentally in their house. Okay, there's something in the carpeting, there's something in the house, there's some very serious flame retardants going on. But flame retardants are required everywhere. Now, what do you do? Okay, it's in the carpeting, it's in the drapes. Simple solution. Very simple solution. It's our old friend baking soda. When you go buy baking soda, don't get the little box, get the 13-pound bag. Take it home, get a sifter or something, a strainer, and just shake it over your carpet. The higher you shake it, the more it's going to get all over the place, and so you have a dust problem, but that's not a big deal. Shake it all over your carpet, and then I find a little push broom works really well, and then like when you have the drapes, let's say the drapes are hanging on this wall, push it towards the drapes and make a cloud and go into the drapes, push it towards the furniture to go into the upholstery, and then go shopping. Go have lunch. The longer you wait, the better, but you only need a few hours, and they say just 1 hour will even work. And then come back and vacuum it all up and throw the bag out. And what you just did is, do you notice where they said that a lot of these things are measured in? In the dust. You see, dust is a dry nuclei that attracts things to it. We talked about dust earlier with the hair dryers. So dust is your enemy. So you vacuum well, get rid of dust in your house, vacuum up the baking soda, and throw it out. What you just did is your carpet will smell better. It'll help remove stains. It'll help clean it. And if you have fleas in there, it'll kill them. And the chemicals that people walked in, and they walk in, we should all go to Hawaiian-type houses. Don't let people walk in your house wearing shoes. Because they're bringing in the antifreeze and the oils and everything else they walk on, and they spread it on your carpet. If you have little kids, I would do this probably once every 3 months. I do it once every 2 months, once every 6 months. And just vacuum it up really, really well. Okay, go ahead and hit play.
up at Berkeley, she really thinks this relates to something in the home environment. She sees these kind of levels, and now remember, Holly, these are just numbers.
I know.
He's testing the way we expected him to.
You catch that? The way they expected him to test
high.
as a toddler in California.
That's shocking. That is really shocking.
But we look at these killer whales, and 300, 400 times more contaminated. That's on a gram basis. You compare 1 gram of fat in my body with that of a transient killer whale, 400 times higher, 250 parts per million.
Whereas we know in humans, 3 parts per million is enough to give a mother a deformed baby. Many of the adults that I saw in 1976 when we began are still alive, and a lot of their babies aren't. We should take that message home to everybody, that we can't afford to kill off the whales through the toxins, that we're next.
Time is of the essence.
Even if we
See, we didn't know before, but now we do. And it's not an issue of pointing fingers or accusing anybody. But now that we know the consequences, we need to change. We need to immediately change. And if this state is really true to their objectives, then we need to support them as much as we can. Forget about politics. We're talking about life here.
Okay, and pause. Oh, no, okay, it had a glitch. Go ahead and hit play, sorry.
We're completely
Oh, it's acting up. Okay, we're completely
responsible toxins are passed on to our children, and it's the same thing in the ocean.
Okay, and pause now. Okay, did you notice the levels that they were talking about that's in the whales? 500 parts per million, whereas in us, 3 parts per million is enough to give a woman a deformed baby. What's going on with the whales? They have whales that have double that. You know which ones it is? It's the calves. Because when a cow is getting all this stuff, and she's getting it from the fish that she eats and everything else, when she gets these POPs, these persistent organic pollutants in her, they're stored in her body fat. When she has her first calf, what happens? Through the milk. The body fat changes into milk, the pollutants go into the milk, and they go into the calf. The first calf normally has about 1,000 parts per million, the second calf about 500 parts per million, and then we're losing the calves, and the adults are still with us. So this is very real, and we're all exposed, and so my whole point this evening on toxins and pollutants is to show how easily we can sidestep so much of this, and we need organic foods, a certain amount of light fasting, exercise, a really clean house. Our houses are loaded up with this stuff. What did Ellen White say about our houses? She says, open up the drapes to let the sunlight in, let the fresh air in. Sunlight kills AIDS viruses. Now our homes are very often are central air with double pane windows, and they're all closed up, and you rebreathe the same thing. And if you become used to a smell, so if you may not smell, your house may smell perfectly normal, but in fact there may be chemicals in there, and so open it up and let the smells go through. Okay, Fiji. Did you enjoy this? Okay, yes. They have, because they're getting this, and they also eat the organs, which are very high in some of this. But I don't have the actual data, but I do know that it's out there and that it is having an impact on the native tribes. Oh, and then also, you know those little plastic balls that you get and you throw it in your wash machine and it's good for 335 washes? Okay, if it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. The company came out with those, sued in New Zealand for they were fined by the government. Don't go get those. This is a scam. This is just and if they break open, there's ceramics in there which can damage your machine. So also, some people put tennis balls into the dryer to fluff things. If you want to fluff something, don't use new tennis balls. They have chemicals in them. Use old, well-used tennis balls. Okay, Fiji. In Fiji, when I went to Fiji, this school was going up for sale the day I arrived. 7-Day Adventist school, been in one of our academies since the 1930s, and I got permission to try to save the school, which our church did. And then next to it, this piece of property from here all the way out to here, 850 acres, the owners wanted to sell it to the Dream Machine for $195,000. It's worth millions. We didn't have $195,000, but doctors Tom and Marta Tuma did. And they put up the money, and we bought the property. And for our part, they gave us this 100 acres right here, and they have the rest of it. And that clinic I showed you this morning, they built their clinic right there. Right there. That's where the clinic is built. And remember, they're a completely independent foundation, but we work closely together. Go ahead and hit play. And I have such a story to tell you. We're going to have a really nice mission story coming up. And so you can see the property. What I want to do is I want to build a mission, our headquarters here. I want to build tree houses, like Swiss Family Robinson. You can build tree houses for the same cost to build a cinder block. That little tiny thing is our dormitory. This is our first one, sleeps 40 people. And we own all this. Imagine tree houses in these trees up here. That would be like way cool. I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, it's just, wow. I don't like cinder block as an ex-felon. Took a little while. Some people got it faster than others. And the Fijians are the most wonderful people on the planet. Just super, super, super friendly. You're going to see we have now treated over 30, now it's stopping on us. Why is it doing that? We have now treated over 30,000 patients in Fiji for free. Over 30,000. And where the sun's coming up, this is Vatavona School. So how beautiful it is. And 10 miles that way is the International Date Line. So this is the first school to see every new day on the planet. This is neat. And then we started doing mobile clinics in 2006, going out to other villages. And the government liked it so much that they have now designated us as their partners in providing health care and health education to the public schools. They want us to visit every public school in northern Fiji. Now, we are a foreign, non-profit, Christian non-profit.
She's from Nuko. This is her grandmother. And she's a beautiful young lady, but she has a little bit of a problem with the muscles on this side of her body.
Okay.
And so because of that, it's twisted her spine. And so we've had a couple pediatricians look at her, and we're working on getting a workup, a medical workup at a receiving hospital in the U.S. to help with either braces or surgery or a progressive program to help her out. Because if this isn't arrested, her lungs are going to get crunched and a few things are not going to go.
Okay, get ready to pause. Okay. All right. Would you like to come to America? Okay. And pause. Little girl. Okay, I want you to see her really close up. She's here. She's here. We spent 2 years getting her here. She's at Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. She has a host family right here in the, I think she's probably around 20 miles from Palos Verdes. And she's been with us for about 8 months, and we're having to put the Arrington rods into her back and everything else. But we're going to save this little girl's life. Isn't this neat? And now you're about to see another little girl who, she fell out of a tree and she broke her leg. And she was going to die from it. And we brought her over and we returned her 8 inches taller. And so you'll see her. Go ahead and hit play. Needs to come to America if you want to help. Here she is. So you see her. Okay. How much have you grown?
I don't know.
How much? You know how much?
She grew about 9 inches.
9 inches?
9 to 10 inches.
Hey, remember your friends in the United States?
You want to wave
You want to say hi to them? Because they'll see the film. Just wave and say hi to the people.
Say all your friends at the school.
They'll remember you. We'll show it to them. They'll want to see you. Can you say hi to them?
Hi.
Hi. Well, you're not shy anymore. You used to be very shy. I'm glad to see you're not so shy. Okay, in Fiji, we build churches. We built 4 churches now, 3 in Butha Bay and 1 on the main island. This is what we build. Pretty nice, huh? And I like to use wood so it's cooler. This is what goes inside the kids. All Fijians speak English, part of the British Commonwealth. Their first language, of course, is Fijian. But now, okay, go ahead and pause again. We went to an island called Nauru. I did this just before I left the Cousteau Society. And this island had been devastated. Phosphate was discovered there, and they overmined it, and they destroyed the island. And the people couldn't live there anymore. And then they went over to Ocean Island, and they did the same thing. And you're going to see the people of Ocean Island. I felt so bad for these people, for what they had gone through. Because I go there, and they have nothing. They have nothing. And I gave them a lot of my medical supplies. We gave them some money, but I felt so bad when we sailed away. And this is 25 years ago. 25 years ago. Go ahead and hit play.
Alcyon briefly leaves Nauru to reopen a human chronicle long since closed. 180 miles away sits Banaba, also known as Ocean Island. No planes come to Banaba, no regular ships, and no more entrepreneurs, for there is nothing but friendship left to seek here. The visit of Alcyon stirs the community, despite the mournful past. British phosphateers were also once welcomed by the Banabans, who in 1900 innocently leased the right to mine the island forever for £50 a year, not knowing what it meant.
That was a rainforest. They mined the whole island.
The British mined until nothing was left, and today's Banaba stands as a glaring glimpse on the future of Nauru. Underwater, the mining halt has brought little recovery. On land, what seems to be a rejuvenating forest is as yet only weed. Diverse habitat could take centuries to revive without the medium of soil.
Get ready to pause.
Today, they live without running water or electricity, without basics of all kinds.
As we leave, I feel we have received more than we've given. The Banabans defy the history of the forgotten.
And pause. Okay. Can you imagine how my heart went out to these people? My wife and I started a foundation in Fiji over 13 years ago. In the middle of Butha Bay where we're at are 2 islands, Kioa and Rombi. They are not Fijians. The people on there are displaced peoples from other islands. They're Polynesians. We've been helping the people of Rombi Island since the beginning, and that is where the people of Ocean Island went. They're there. Here, I wanted to help these people more than anything, and then I found out we've been helping them for 6 years, and I didn't know that was the people from Ocean Island. And so now another foundation has just gotten started. It's called the Jabez Foundation, and it's come out of people from the Dream Machine who specifically want to help the people of Rombi Island. And this is their mission story. Go ahead and hit play.
Our goal is to reach out to the people on the island of Rambi, and we've started with a compound in the village of Lassi Lassi. We built a multi-purpose building with bathrooms and showers, kitchen. Now we're building a medical clinic. They're just fun to be around. They love to have fun. They laugh, they play, but they've been overlooked. So that's what we're trying to do, is help out where they haven't gotten any help from before.
Makes you feel good. Makes you feel good inside, like especially helping the Rambian people here. I think the Rambian people are some of the nicest people I've met out here in the islands, and they sort of live a pretty hard life. They're pretty basic people. It's like stepping into a time machine and going back 50 years coming out here.
I think our biggest goal is to recognize that life is not all about us, and that Christ has put a purpose on our lives to serve other people. And so that's what this trip is all about, and to realize, hey, the greatest joy in life, the greatest moments in life are when we're actually helping other people. So I think that's our big goal for coming out here.
And hit skip, please. Chapter skip. Is it skip? Skip? If it doesn't, it's okay. We can just stop. There's this one little other, I just had one last clip, but I don't have to have it. That's why I like to use DVD players instead of computers. You know, to err is human, but to really foul things up takes a computer. Okay, we'll just stop there. Wow, Fiji, the people there. Let me tell you what happened. Portland Adventist Academy, this is their 5th trip to Fiji. 5th trip. They called it an A+ experience. And they came down, these kids, last March, and they went to Rombi Island, and they're going to lay the foundation for a clinic. And they're ready with the wheelbarrows, and they're going to get sand, and they're going to wash the sand, and put sand and rocks down as a foundation, and then they're going to put the cement on. And they're going to mix it in wheelbarrows. And when they get there, the people on Rombi Island are truly a forgotten people. They don't even have a wharf. They have 5,000 people on this island. They don't even have a wharf. And the government asked us to do tuberculosis testing. We tested the whole population of almost 5,000 people for tuberculosis. We checked them for cholera. We've been doing medical and dental work. We've been helping them with farming. We've been helping them rebuild. We built a church there. But anyway, this mission group goes out there. And you see the guy with the sunglasses who was talking about these really neat people? He's an Australian contractor, and the government hired him to build a wharf. And as he's talking to his kids, he goes, well, you know what? He says, we're putting concrete in the water. And that means that I have bags that are pre-mixed with rock and sand, and it has to be an exact mix for going in water. And if any of the bags are damaged, I can't use them. And so would you like to have this for your foundation? They said yes. So he brought a great big truck over, a dump truck, and they dumped 8 loads of this stuff in. They did the whole foundation with that. But now they had to do the concrete. And so he says, now how are you going to pour your concrete? They said, well, we're going to mix it in wheelbarrows. And he goes, you are not. And he brings over his whole crew in a cement truck, and they mix up the cement, and they pour the cement. And they get the cement all poured, and they see a storm on the horizon. And so they quickly go into their ocean container to get supplies, and they find that even though that was there, 2 big rolls of heavy-duty black plastic, industrial plastic, and they covered it 15 minutes before the cyclone hit. And the rain in neighboring areas was up to 1 meter of rain, and it would have ruined everything, but because they had everything they needed, it was all taken care of, and the kids had a wonderful mission trip, and they're going back in March. Okay, now, are you convinced of something? Am I having more challenge and adventure now as a lay youth minister in the Seventh-day Adventist Church than when I was chief diver for Jacques Cousteau? You know, this is so neat. I will do this for a lifetime. This is my lifetime mission to help kids, because when we send kids to Fiji, they become changed because the kids they're with, they'll have one day of food on the counter. Their parents, nobody has a refrigerator. People don't have generators. They don't have electricity. What they get is they gather from the rainforest. And when they farm, what they do is they just take a stick and they make a hole and they put something in it. And whatever grows is what they eat. I warned you we're going to have an offering tonight. I didn't know they were going to have deacons at the door. I appreciate it, but I thought I just asked for a basket in the foyer. We need your help. Like any nonprofit right now, we're struggling, but what's really cool is we're accomplishing more than we've ever accomplished before with less. We're accomplishing more than ever before. We're relying with these other foundations now. Remember, there's 3 foundations. We have a 4th one getting ready to start. We have a dentist out of Laguna Beach who wants to take a government building and convert it into a clinic. And so we're helping them. We're helping them interfacing with the Fiji government so that they can build a clinic. And this will be clinic number 4 that we've helped to build. And on your offerings, if you're going to write a check, you would write it to the Dream. By the way, do you have somebody who's going to pass? If you write a check, you write it to the Dream Machine Foundation. It's like you're dreaming at night, Dream Machine Foundation. And we're a nonprofit in the United States, so you get a tax receipt. We're also a nonprofit in Fiji, which is very, very rare. It's very rare that you can be a nonprofit in Fiji. We've done so much work for the government, they made us a nonprofit about 8 years ago. And that means that anything we import into Fiji, we do not have to pay the 47% tax on importation products. But here's how important your offering is. Hey, for $20, things are more expensive in Fiji because of the importation taxes, right? A shovel costs about $20. Actually, you can buy a shovel and a hoe for about $30. And I didn't know this, but we had a cyclone in 2010 that was the size of Irene. And it bullseyed on Rambi Island. The eye of it went right over it, destroyed 700 homes. And what was neat is after we were the first ones to provide food, we provided 16,000 pounds of food 10 days after the cyclone. Because we needed the roads to open before we could get in. But then we delivered seeds, starter roots, and gardening tools. And they told us, hand down, the most important thing we provided was the gardening tools. Because with a shovel, a rake, a heavy rake, and a hoe, they can lay out a garden. And that means they can feed a lot more people. So your offerings go a long, long way with the Dream Machine Foundation. And we are approved. We've been vetted by the Fiji Mission, the Trans-Pacific Union, the South Pacific Division, and the GC. Accident Risk Management looked at us. And there's one last thing I'll tell you before I take the offering. When we opened up the clinic in Fiji, the very first clinic, and I'm just telling you because it's fun. Okay, I'm just wrapping it up with something fun. We're going to open the clinic. 1,000 Fijians and chiefs from the area all came in for the big celebration, and the elder from the church came in with one of the important people from the village, and he said that, Mr. Arrington, we so appreciate what you've done. We decided we're going to name it the Arrington Clinic. And I said, no, you are not, because this is about the God's work. You can name it the Booth Bay Clinic because that's where it's at. And if you say the Booth Bay Clinic, then people know where to go. And so they left, and then they came back with a guy with a really big stick. He's a really big guy. And he said, we have to do something. We have to do something. And if the chiefs have voted, and this is a great honor that they're going to do for you, and if you say no, it will be a huge loss of faith for them, and that guy with the stick will probably hit you with it. So you have to go along with it. And I go, okay, what are you going to do? And they said, we're going to make you a chief. Now, I'm only an honorary chief in Fiji. I'm not just an honorary chief. But you see something? What you found out during the church service, that was important to me, right? And now that it's not important anymore, God does it one more time. See what I can do? And I have no authority. My wife doesn't even listen to me, okay? But God really wants to be involved in the details of what we do. Okay, I'm going to close with a prayer. I'm going to do a prayer for the offering, and then I'll answer questions, and then we'll close. Dear Father, as always, you're in charge, and I just thank you. I thank you for this chance to do your work, and I want to do it for a lifetime. I'm yours. However you want to use me, I just keep me with my family. That's all I ask, Father, and give each of us a chance to do something good for somebody else. And I ask you to bless the offering like the bread and the fish. It can go so very, very far. to do your work, and not just in Fiji, but the other places we service. In Jesus' name, amen. By the way, we send mission groups to Nepal, to Tibet, to South Africa, to South America, to Peru, and to Vietnam. Anybody interested in going to Vietnam? Okay? Okay, because are you interested in Vietnam? Okay, we're talking about, we've been sending mission groups doing water and clinics in Vietnam, and we're talking about fielding a team to Vietnam. And we have a Vietnam medic who oversees all this, and he does a wonderful job of leading groups. So if you go to dreammachinefoundation.com, like you're dreaming at night, and join our newsletter, because I'll be updating and just watch it, because I'm being a Vietnam vet. I would love to go back to Vietnam. Okay, yes. Okay, I have. Yeah, and if it's okay, what you can do. I don't have an envelope, but I have a. This is a dream. You got one of these? Here you go. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Another question? Yeah. You want one of these too? Okay. Anybody not get my Dream Machine Foundation handout? Anybody want one? Oh, here you go. Can you make a contribution online? Yes, you can. You can do it through PayPal or a credit card. If you're going to, now I have to say this. If you're going to make a rather large contribution, don't do it with a credit card, okay? Because they take too much of it. If you're going to make a credit card donation, if you're going to make a donation online, you can make it through PayPal. But if you make it through with a credit card, too much of it goes to the credit card company. I'd rather see it do the Lord's work. Yeah, they take a big chunk. It adds up. So more of your work, more of your donation gets towards going, boy, this is fun. I'm having such a good time. There you go. Thank you. Okay, I have. Come. You're a perfect church to go. If you want to go like to Fiji, you go to LAX. You get a nonstop 747 to Fiji. Air Pacific, 10 hours. 10 hours. And you go there at 11:30 at night, and you wake up and you go to sleep on the plane, and you wake up in Fiji. It's a nice way to travel. Same thing when you come back. Yeah, in fact, you get here before you left. So, okay, hey, I have to share just a really quick. I'm almost done. I'm a traveling ABC, and I have some stuff to show you. And I can take a credit card, but only Visa and MasterCharge. If you write a check, you write it to Steve Arrington. This is not to the Dream Machine. This is how I support my family. And if you have cash, I require 2 forms of picture ID. It's just the times. Okay. Who's read this book, Extreme? Did you read the thick one or the thin one? Okay, this is the thin one. Oh, this is not thick. This is thin. I wrote one that was 824 pages, and people said, it's too long. Make it shorter. It's too heavy. And so I did. Here it is. This book, now how'd you like it? Well, I wanted to write a book that would change lives. This is not just writing my autobiography and having fun. It's illustrated with pictures. It's guaranteed if you don't like it, return it. If you don't like it, return it. This book, I'm having a big sale tonight. I don't charge you tax, and I'm having a big sale. I mean a really big sale. You'll find out in the foyer, out of the sanctuary. But this book is meant to change lives. I show pictures of my wife. I talk about what it was like to be a frogman and go to frogman school. I write about what it was like to get caught up in the Medellin drug cartel and go to prison. It's all in here. I write about becoming a Christian in prison. I talk about getting out of prison and becoming a lay youth minister and working at the College of Oceaneering, whales and dolphins and sharks. This is a really fun book. And then for kids, I have High and Adventure 1 and 3. I'm out of 2. And then I have some videos. I have My Story by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. This won 3 gold medals, 2 at the world's largest secular film festival, Seventh-day Adventist film. And then I have my best diving in Fiji. This is an hour of my underwater diving in Fiji, best diving with Fijian hymns. And then I have also the wagon trip. This wagon trip, if you haven't seen it, somebody should get this and share it. There's a Seventh-day Adventist teacher at the Paradise Seventh-day Adventist Church. He takes the kids on a real wagon trip. I filmed him. He won the Disney Teacher of the Year. He beat out 50,000 other teachers to win that. And there's a reason why he is that good. Now, I have the last thing to show you, and this is now fun. I am about to have fun. When I first started doing this, I was kind of nervous because I didn't know how people would accept it. Remember I told you about the toothpaste in Fiji? The dentist who was with me, he's in charge of continuing education for UCLA and USC. And what he does is he brings in research scientists and to educate the dentists on their continuing education. And working with dentists and this research scientist, they figured the best thing that works in your mouth is natural products. If it's natural, and sodium bicarbonate is the best thing that can go in, if you use natural, you're going to do something good for people. And so they wanted to come up with an oral rinse. And all this is, it's a packet, and it has a crystal powder in it. Now, I'll tell you what's in the powder. This is all that's in there, is xylitol sugar, which is bad for bacteria. Bacteria can't live in it. So dentists will tell you this is fine to go into your mouth. The next ingredient is silica dioxide, which is sand. This really fine sand, I want you to feel your teeth. When you feel that the film on your teeth, that's a biofilm. That's poop, okay, from biological animals. And when you put this in there, I want you to feel, you're going to get to try this tonight. You're going to get to try it, because it's the best way is to try it. When you put this in your mouth, the amalgamated sand bonds to that biofilm and helps to strip it away. And if you want to, you can brush your teeth with your finger. You can take your finger and run this stuff over your finger, or you can take your tongue and run it over. Right now, run your tongue over your teeth and see what they feel like. Everybody needs to do this. Then, the next ingredient, the third ingredient, is baking soda. Just baking soda. Fourth ingredient is citric acid. What happens when you mix citric acid and baking soda? It foams up in your mouth. The last ingredient is natural flavor. This one happens to be mint. I also have bubble gum. When we go out there, I want you to take one of these packets, you shake it down, and you pour it in your mouth. It's all natural. There's nothing else in there. This is what I use to brush my teeth with. This is what my family uses to brush their teeth with. And we took it to Fiji, and we took one school, and we had every kid brush their teeth with this for 1 month. And then we brought in a dentist who didn't know anything about the program, and he evaluated the kids from 8 schools, and the kids from this school fared fantastically. There was a huge difference. Now, on this, if you don't like it, it's 100% guaranteed, return it. Okay, now I know that some of you will go, no, by the way, how many boxes of this have I gotten back now in 2 years? None. Of this one, none. Not one in 2 years. Now, then people go, well, he's a youth ministry. People are reluctant to send it back to him. Okay, no, then I'll tell you what you do. Contact Carson Laboratories. Their address and name's on the box. Call them up and return it to them. And you can send them an empty box, and they will give you a complete 100% refund. How many? Yeah, wow. Now, how many of these have they gotten back from people who bought it from me? None. Zero. You got to try this, because if you try it, you're going to go, wow. Now, how many people in here tried it? Raise your hand so they know you tried it. What do you think of it? Wow. This is going to blow you away. And if you have braces or dentures, this is really, really good. If you have braces, it gets up. It's kind of like a liquid floss. It gets in the areas. And if I hype any of this and it's not good, if it doesn't do what I say it's going to do, what are you going to think? You're going to think, well, Steve is full of it. I'm not going to risk my ministry, but I'll tell you what this has done. This has really helped my ministry more than I can ever say, because the company's allowing me to make a very nice profit off this, and I get to give you a bigger discount. Now, they have one last thing, and I need to tell you about it because it's just too good. They came up with a product called Spray White. Now, all this in here is a canister with a pump. I have to tell you, enough of you are going to get this that you need to know how to use it right, because if you use this wrong, you're not going to like it. You use this before you brush your teeth. When you get up in the morning, don't brush your teeth. Wet your lips. There's an applicator. You put it into your mouth, and you put your lips around it, and you pump it 3 times. You can do less if you want. What you're doing is you're blowing water, or you're spraying water and hydrogen peroxide on your teeth and gums. That's all it is. Now, if you go to a store and you buy hydrogen peroxide, it's usually 3% hydrogen peroxide. The rest is water. This one is 27% hydrogen peroxide. Oh, that's a lot, okay? The Pro is 35% hydrogen peroxide. And normally, that would blister your mouth. But it's the application. It's a spray. So you're getting a tiny volume, not a big volume, because you have to spray it. And what it does is when you spray it, it adheres to your teeth and your gums, and it's going to turn into all these bubbles. and the bubbles go up into, into the gum line by the teeth and everything else, and it wipes everything out. Now, you leave it in for 90 seconds, and then you spit it out, and then you put a wow in, and when you put the wow in, that removes the last of the hydrogen peroxide. So then it's all gone. So it's only in your mouth for 90 seconds. How long? When do you use it? Before you brush your teeth. Now, then you can brush your teeth with the wow if you want to brush your teeth. If you still want to use a toothpaste, don't use it for 1 hour, because this stuff is still working inside of your mouth. It's still working, so don't use it for 1 hour, because this changes the pH in your mouth, and it does really, really, really good things. Now, there is a kit in here that you can hold it up and you can see the color of your teeth. This is a whitener. It does whiten teeth. If you want to look in my mouth, when I'm back there, I'm 64 years old next month. My gums are healthy. I've never had a cavity. I have a very happy, happy mouth. It's good news. But one time I broke off some floss, and it got up between two teeth, 2 molars, and I've had troubles with that for 20 years because it would get inflamed. It's gone. It's gone. I am really happy with this. Now, if you don't like it, what do you do with it? Send it back to Carson Laboratories. How many have been sent back? One. This guy read about hydrogen peroxide, and he decided he didn't want to have hydrogen peroxide in his mouth. So he sent it back. He never tried it. And so I was able to resell the box. So it was good news. I'm putting my reputation on the line. And I do it happily, because if I can do something that helps you and helps me support my family, then it's really good news, right? Okay, so I'm going to go out in the foyer. How did I do on time? Okay, we went